What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the only show that dares to speak the truth, the raw, unadulterated truth about the streets, the beats, and the legends who walked that razor's edge. Today, we ain't just talking about a rapper, we're talking about a force of nature, a lyrical assassin, a man who lived and died by the sword, Tupac Shakur. Forget what the mainstream media fed you, forget the sanitized versions of history. We're about to peel back the layers and expose the ugly, beautiful, and downright dangerous reality of Pac's life, his enemies, and the conspiracies that still haunt hip-hop to this damn day. Now, every armchair expert out there thinks they know the story. Tupac versus Biggie, East Coast versus West Coast, a beef that ended in tragedy. But let me tell you, that's just the tip of the iceberg. A damn ripple in the ocean of chaos that Pac stirred up. Biggie, he was just one target in a firing squad that Tupac aimed at anyone who dared to cross him. We're talking politicians, industry snakes, and even his own damn friends. This man was a one-man army, and he didn't give a fuck who stood in his way. Let's rewind to that infamous night at Quad Studios in New York, November 30th, 1994. This wasn't just some random robbery, nah. This was a setup, a cold-blooded ambush that changed the entire trajectory of hip-hop. Pac rolls up, thinking he's about to lay down some fire for Lil Sean, maybe even link with Biggie. But what he walked into was a trap, a damn gauntlet of betrayal. 3 armed motherfuckers rush him in the lobby, guns drawn. And what does Pac do? Does he cower? Does he beg? Hell no. This is Tupac we're talking about. He fought back, he grabbed a gun, struggled with those punks, and ended up taking 5 shots. 5 shots, man. One even grazed his damn skull. And the next day, he's convicted in a sexual assault case and thrown in jail. Coincidence? I don't think so. This whole thing stank from the jump. And who was behind it? The whispers have been swirling for years, but the truth is uglier than you think. Dexter Isaac, the alleged shooter, came out years later and said he was paid by Jimmy Henchman, a so-called manager who was really running a massive drug empire. And get this, Isaac claimed that Pac's own homie, Stretch, set the whole thing up for a quarter brick of cocaine. A quarter brick. Your boy, your supposed brother, selling you out for a damn rock. That's the kind of snake shit that makes you question everything. Pac even called out Jimmy Henchman on the track Against All Odds, saying, "Did I mention I promised to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time? I know you listening. The whole world is mine. Set me up, wake me up, suck me up, heard the guns buzz, but your tricks never shut me up." He knew, man. He knew he was betrayed. And even though Pac never got his payback, Henchman eventually got his, serving 2 life sentences for drug trafficking and murder. And in 2012, he finally confessed to being involved in the Quad Studio shooting. So, yeah, the truth always comes out, even if it takes damn near 2 decades. But the Quad Studio shooting wasn't just about betrayal. It was the spark that ignited the East Coast-West Coast War, a beef that consumed hip-hop and ultimately planed 2 of its biggest stars. Before that night, Pac and Biggie were tight, real friends. But after those 5 shots, everything changed. Pac accused Biggie and Diddy of knowing about the ambush, and they denied it, of course. But the lines were drawn, and the game was never the same. Hit 'em Up wasn't just a diss track, it was a declaration of war, a lyrical assault on Biggie, Bad Boy Records, and anyone who stood with them. And Biggie's Who Shot Ya? Even if he claimed it wasn't about Pac, everyone knew what it was. It was a taunt, a slap in the face that fueled the fire even more. And let's not forget the other battles Pac was fighting. This man had more enemies than a damn drug lord. Jay-Z, before he was Hove, before he was a billionaire, was just a young cat trying to make his way. But when he linked up with Biggie on Brooklyn's Finest, and Biggie took shots at Pac, Jay-Z got caught in the crossfire. Pac went for his neck on Bomb first, calling him a bad boy killer and saying he died too. And on Friends, he straight up said, "My so-called comp Who the man while I'm tugging on your main chick? Yeah, Pac was talking about Jay-Z and Faith Evans. The audacity, the disrespect. And while Irv Gotti said Jay-Z had too much respect for Pac to diss him after he died, you know damn well Jay-Z had a response ready. He just never dropped it. Coward move or smart business? You decide. Then there's the whole death row saga. When Suge Knight bailed Pac out of prison and signed him, it was supposed to be a new era, a West Coast takeover. And for a minute, it was. Death Row was printing money, Snoop was blowing up, and Pac was dropping classics. But then Dr. Dre, the architect of that sound, decided to bounce. And Pac, being Pac, couldn't let that slide. He started spreading rumors that Dre was gay, calling him fruity as Alizé on Toss It Up. He said Dre made a dumb move leaving Death Row. And while that diss track dropped after Pac was killed, you know he was talking that shit while he was alive. Pac didn't care about burning bridges. He cared about speaking his mind, no matter how toxic it was. And what about Nas? The message dropped, and Pac thought Nas was dissing him. So what does Pac do? He starts dissing Nas at his live shows, talking shit on his Machiavelli album. And then at the 96 MTV Video Music Awards, Nas's little brother, Jungle, almost gets jumped by the Death Row crew. Jungle, being a real one, starts yelling, "Yo, Mobb Deep in the house," and tries to snatch a Death Row chain. These Death Row dudes pull out razor blades, talking about, "Death Row, we here to die." It was about to be a bloodbath, man. But then Pac and Nas run into each other. And instead of throwing hands, they talk it out. They squashed it. They even planned to meet up in Vegas. But we all know what happened in Vegas. Tragically, they never got that chance. And Pac, being the real one he was, allegedly planned to take all his disses against Nas off of Don Illuminati. But he died before he could do it. So yeah, Lord, listen to me. God don't like ugly. It was written, "Hey yo Nas, your whole damn style is bitten." That shit stayed on the record. And then, years later, an unreleased Nas track leaks, where he's taking shots at Pac, saying from tube socks and Timbs to blue rocks and Benz, who got the end the type of Tupac pretends, it's all known to shine, guess who got revenge, I won't showboat, my flow choke you. Man, if they had really gone back and forth, that would have been legendary. But it never happened. Just another what if in the tragic story of Tupac Shakur. And let's not forget the politicians, the so-called moral guardians who tried to silence Pac. See Dolores Tucker, that civil rights activist who hated rap, tried to get music stores to stop selling records. And Pac, being the lyrical gangster he was, clapped back on tracks like How Do You Want It, saying, "See Dolores Tucker, you a motherfucker. Instead of trying to help a brother, you destroy a brother worse than the others." He even called out Bill Clinton and Bob Dole, telling them they were too old to understand the way the game's told. He didn't care who it was. If you came at him, he was coming back harder. And after Pac died, Tucker tried to sue his estate for damages, claiming emotional distress and invasion of privacy. The case got thrown out, of course. And all it did was make more rappers clown her, inspiring a whole new wave of artists to go against the system. Pac's influence, even from the grave, was undeniable. Even Snoop Dogg, his own damn brother from another mother, caught some heat. After Pac got out of prison, he and Snoop were tight. But Snoop, after his own murder trial, was trying to leave the gangster life behind, trying to make peace with the East Coast. And Pac and Suge, they weren't on the same page. Snoop went on the radio in New York and showed love to Biggie and Diddy. And Pac and Suge took it as a betrayal. They iced him out. Snoop even thought that he was about to get jumped on a private plane back to LA. He grabbed a fork, a knife, and a blanket, ready to defend himself. That's how tense it was, man. And just a few days later, Pac was shot and killed in Vegas. Snoop rushed to the hospital, saw Pac unconscious, and Pac's mom, Afeni, told him, "My baby ain't never seen you weak. I don't want you to be weak in front of him. You go in the bathroom and fix yourself up, and you go back in here and you talk to him and you tell him how you feel. My baby loves you." Snoop just wanted peace, but they never got the chance to talk it out. Another tragic ending to a beautiful friendship. And finally, let's talk about the Vice President, Dan Quayle. In 1992, a dude named Ronald Ray Howard killed a state trooper and blamed it on Tupac's music. And Quayle, being the opportunistic politician he was, jumped on it, saying Pac's music shouldn't be released, calling it an irresponsible corporate act. And what did Pac do? He clapped back on Pete Game, saying, "Got my hands on my Glock, eyes on the prize. First sucker jump first. You could die. Give me mine, give me mine, give me mine. Like I told you, hard as a boulder, soldier, boom, bam, boom," is a sticker, Vice President Dan Quayle. Eat a dick up. He didn't care if you were the vice president. If you came at him, he was coming back harder. And he came out on top. That's the kind of man Tupac was. Unapologetic, fearless, and always ready for a fight. So yeah, the story of Tupac Shakur is more than just a rapper who got shot. It's a saga of betrayal, loyalty, beef, and a man who dared to speak his mind in a world that tried to silence him. He was a product of his environment, a reflection of the streets, and a prophet who saw the future. And even though he's gone, his legacy lives on, inspiring generations of artists and fans, the conspiracies, the unanswered questions, the raw emotion in his music. It all keeps him alive. And that, my friends, is why Tupac Shakur will forever be the most controversial, the most engaging, and the most real artist to ever grace the mic. Until next time, stay toxic, stay real, and keep those headphones on blast.